Hey there, how are you doing today? I hope that you are hanging in there through all of this wild ride that we have going on right now in our world, and that you are staying healthy and safe and as physically isolated as you can and as socially connected as you can and need to be with all the great technology that we have. If you're someone who is an essential worker right now, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot say it enough. Thank you so, so, so much. And for those folks who are not essential workers, but who are volunteering time, energy, money, trying to make sure that those folks who don't have what they need don't fall through the cracks, thank you so much. It is so important, and we all have to do our part right now. As I've been thinking through and pondering and reflecting and meditating and coping with this situation, I have what's come up again and again and again is this issue to many, but for now, two things. One, surrender, and two, trust. So right now, and let me start off and say, like, there are a bajillion ways to interpret this situation. There are a bajillion ways to cope with this situation. I intellectually think that none of them are wrong. The deeper part of me knows that none of them are wrong. I have judgments about some of them, and that doesn't matter, because all of us have to get through in the way that we get through. We all process in the way that we process. We all show up the best that way that we can, and that is what I know for sure. So what I'm sharing is my thoughts and reflections and not quite reactions, but just how I'm approaching this situation at this time. There is, so the two things, right? Surrender and trust. There is not a whole heck of a lot we can do to make the situation go faster. There's not a lot that we can do to, make the COVID vaccine happen faster. Like, these things take time, and certainly staying home and doing the best we can to stay physically isolated, maintaining our responsible radius, all these kinds of things matter. Like, these are things that are super important, and they definitely matter. And that's within our power and control. But what we can't control is the fact that this is all happening in the way that it's happening. And as it's happening, we can't control anybody else, right? You can't control what your friends are doing, what your family's doing, what your neighbors are doing even. And it's super easy to get caught up in a judgy situation. And this is something that I have been working through and coping with as I'm seeing cars on the road and not knowing the stories of everybody who's out and about, and trying to bring myself back to a place of, well, I'm responsible for myself. I can only do my part, and I have to surrender everything else. Like, nothing else is in my control. The only thing that's in my control is this, right? My thoughts, my actions, how I choose to spend my time, how I choose to direct my focus. These are the things that are in my control right now. And so that parlays itself into trust a little bit. Anxiety, there's so much here. And it feels silly to try and parse it all down into a 10-minute video for Instagram and YouTube. As I have been working through this and as I have been processing, I got a little sick, and I had a cough. I never had a fever. I had some pain in my chest, like a little bit of difficulty breathing, and I was like, oh my god, excuse my language, but like, fuck, like, this is bad. And I was a little bit panicked about it. And so, doing all the things that I know to do to take care of myself, getting good rest, doing some hydrotherapy for myself, making sure I'm taking my supplements, doing some therapeutic fasting, like all of those things that I know that keep me healthy when I start to get sick. And thank God, nothing got worse. The worst that I had was a little bit of a cough, and hopefully, knock wood, that's all that happens to me and in my household and in my family. But it's a really interesting space to be in, right? To be aware of your body and wanting to take care of yourself and trying to balance this intense anxiety of like, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if I get sick? And so that's where that surrender piece comes back in, because you do what you can, and then the rest of it, there's nothing you can do about. And this is terrifying. If you're hearing this and you're like, yeah, but what else do I do? Like, Catherine, that's not a good enough answer. It's all that there is, right? And so I think that a lot of what this is calling us to as a culture, among other things, is really being aware of where are my lines? Where are the things that I can control? And when I get past those lines of what I can control, where does the surrender happen? What needs to be surrendered? What do I need to let go of? Or not what I need to let go of, but what isn't helping me? Like, what am I carrying that really I can't do anything about anyway? And certainly putting your focus and attention and time into those things that you can control and into the things that you can do. And so if you're someone who's not an essential worker, staying physically distant as much as you can, that's a thing you can do, and it really matters. Like, it really, really matters, my friends. Deciding how you use your time, this is something else that super matters, and there's no right or wrong way to do this, depending on who is in your social circles, who you follow on your social media platforms, all this kind of stuff. There are lots of different voices and opinions about how to best spend this time, or even if you need to put an intention about how you spend this time. I love to have an intention. I'm all about intentionality in everything, even in the best of times, and so from my perspective, I do recommend an intention. And that doesn't have to be like make something awesome. That can be show up for the moment, be present in the moment as best I can. That's a perfectly laudable intention, and something that can be super challenging and hard. And honest to God, if that is what you can do, that's what you're committed to, I applaud you, because it is so, so, so hard to do. And it's also so critically important. And as we're talking about health anxiety and maybe wanting or not wanting to stay in touch with your body based around fears about, oh gosh, what if I start showing symptoms? What if it gets worse? What if I end up in the hospital? What if? Staying in the moment can be super challenging and super hard. And having the courage to stay connected to your body can also be super challenging and super hard. And I think, well, no, I won't go there. Well, I think this has a lot to do with sort of where we're at as a culture, is in not being willing to go within and visit with our emotions and see how they're showing up in our bodies and what that means to us, and what that means for us in terms of what's next, what next actions need to happen. So that's all I have for right now, I think. And that's a lot. So if you can, hang in there, set an intention, be gentle with yourself as best you can. And I'm thinking of you. I'm here with you. I'm doing all the same things that I am encouraging you to do. My nose is running right now. Sorry about that. That's gross. But I also know that this isn't going to last forever, right? So that's the other piece of surrender. It takes the time that it takes. We have to surrender and be present for this moment as best we can. If we opt into that, if we opt into learning from this experience and walking away different people than we were before, which we all will, whether we intend it or not, but intentionality gives you a direction. It gives you a sense of purpose, I think, and it can help bring some thoughtfulness and enlightenment in the more difficult moments. And so my intention has been to go inward as much as possible, to connect with myself as much as possible, to stay present for all those challenging emotions, to be right where with them all the time, to sit with them, meditate with them, welcome them in with open arms, and say, I see you, anxiety, I see you, and I love you. Thank you for being here. Like, thank you for being here. I have so much to learn right now. And this is why I'm sharing this with you. I think if you're able to take this in, and even if it's for 5 minutes, sit with your anxiety, sit with your fear, sit with whatever it is. If you have some new idea or a creative idea, or if it's sitting with your family or sitting with a friend, or whatever that looks like for you, you kind of get the point, I hope. At any rate, hang in there. If you need anything directly, one-on-one support, please let me know. I'm certainly here to help, and would be happy to see if there's any way that I can assist you and be of service during this extra challenging, super bizarre, never been seen before by us time. All right, I'm in there with you. Hang in there, friends. Until next time.